Alright, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about a little study I did talking about the average NFL career and why the average NFL career being 3 years, as I'm sure you've heard on literally any news outlet, is mostly wrong. But before we get into it, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. Let's dive right into this. So, what did I set out to seek when I was, trying to come up with this study, and what was the overall purpose of this? So there have been a lot of misconceptions over the past few years, and it's usually brought up in injury debates, like ongoing CTE debates. I know that over the past few years, with Damar Hamlin and Tua Tagovailoa, usually when situations like that happen, there's usually a lot of debate that goes on, and we've had some really, really, really gruesome injuries on primetime over the past few years. So whenever stuff like this happens, usually something like this is going to come up, and they're going to say, "Well, the average NFL career is only 3 years," and this is usually brought up when they're talking about athletes and how they, handle their money. And to all this, I think it's mainly a bunch of nonsense. Like you've probably heard that the average NFL career is 3 years long, and to that I say yes, but no. So here's what we are going to set out. We are going to figure out how long is the average NFL career for just, a random sample of players. How long is the average NFL career for guys who are first round picks, and how long was the average NFL career for guys who were named to a single Pro Bowl. And my methodology for this was as follows. So I random number generated 1 through 90 of any training camp rostered player from 2000 to 2010, random number generated 1 through 32 to see which team I drew. And honestly, this info is really hard to find. So I would appreciate your because this did take me a little bit to get everything. But why 2000 to 2010? First of all, I didn't want to use active players for this study. And everyone from 2010, besides QBs and kickers, is pretty much retired, besides Brandon Graham and Trent Williams. Those are the only two non-QBs and kickers that are still around from 2010. So from the first round picks data set, I used random number generation from 2000 to 2010 as well. And I random numbers generated 1 through 32. So this was draft slot instead of team. And for the Pro Bowl players, I hand selected them, although I tried to even out by position. But the argument of running backs being compared to quarterbacks is not necessarily invalid, because running backs are usually going to have the short career, quarterbacks are usually going to have the long career. But I did draw some of both in my true random sample. So yeah, I don't know. And last of all, long snappers were not included. Like, yes, they are an integral part of the game, but we don't really have enough info on, how their bodies hold up to this and how long they truly last. So long snappers are people too, but I drew one in my random sample and I was like, no. So here's what I found. If you are a first round pick in the NFL, your average career is 8 years. If you are named to a single Pro Bowl, your average career is 9 years. From my true random sample, the average NFL career was 3 years. So, yes, the idea of the average NFL career being 3 years is not necessarily wrong. But at the same time, here is what you have to remember. The 3 year average is not untrue, but it's weighed down by guys who are likely never going to see significant NFL snaps. All pro and Pro Bowl caliber players last way longer. I do think a lot of the guys who end up retiring after a 3 year career of, bouncing around on various training camp practice squads, I think a lot of those guys probably do still have the juice to keep going. But if you don't really show out within 3 years, I don't think you're really going to get, as a UDFA or just, a sixth, even seventh round pick, I don't think you're going to find a spot on many other NFL rosters. Sure, there are a lot of guys who have had some journeyman careers, and a lot of guys who are brought in as camp bodies every offseason, and some guys who pretty much make a career out of it. Here's what else you have to remember. Most players who are on an NFL 90-man camp roster, they do not go on to have multi-year starting careers. So if you're just taking a random sample of guys who make it to the NFL, the odds are against you to be a contributor. And almost all these guys have been playing football for an extremely long time. And even if you start freshman year of high school, which is probably really late, if you're being completely honest, for becoming a pro football player, you're still getting 7 years minimum if you're an early declare of getting hit every weekend, and 8 years if you do not go into the NFL your junior year. So that's a lot of toll that is already taken on your body. And then you're going to be getting hit by these, absolute behemoths every week. And I don't know, it's just tough. But even the guys who medically retire last a while. You think about guys like Andrew Luck, you think about guys like Patrick Willis. So not everybody who medically retires early. So yeah, I just did this. I thought it'd be a nice little quick video. I thought some of you may find this interesting. Leave a like if you enjoy. Comment your thoughts on my findings below. And here's my spreadsheet. Here is, where I got all my data. I didn't do like a decimal system for my median. I just used a whole number sum. So I know that 8.1 would be a lot different than 8.9, but I don't know. I just thought this was fun to throw together at 4 in the morning. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys next time, and peace out.